Okay. Right. Yeah, make yourself comfortable, seated or lying. All right, we'll start to tune into the breath. So noticing that natural sensation of breath first. You can really tune into the physicality of the breath. So where in the body are you feeling? So maybe the chest, noticing the diaphragm and the belly. Feeling the sit bones on the floor, your prop. We'll start with a little Ujjayi breath, so a little ocean wave breath to deep in. So taking in a big breath through the nostrils. And if it's comfortable, just a little constriction at the back of the throat and through the nostrils on the exhale. Okay, and then just relaxing that effort there, coming back to that natural rhythm in the breath. And then bringing the hands together at the heart. All right, so with the breath, you're going to reach up overhead, maybe drawing the arms wide, take a big stretch here, and then we'll come down into cactus arms. Good. All right, so let's squeeze the hands behind the back as we come down. Okay, and then we'll do like a normal sun breath, and well, working from that as a starting point, but we've got our shoulder rotation as well. So your hands are at the back of the pelvis, palms facing away from you, and then we'll sweep them up and together overhead. Okay, so taking the sun breath here, then sweep them down and back behind the pelvis, and then doing that a couple more times with breath. Reaching arms up, exhaling down. Good. All right, so just releasing the arms at your sides, and we'll take a couple of lateral bends. One hand to the floor, one arm extends. Move with the breath to the other side. Good. And again. Excellent. And then coming back up to the center. Palms facing forward, take your arms, one arm across the body, so coming into a twist. Look over your back shoulder. And then with the breath, moving to the other side. Good. All right, so coming back into the center, and we'll move through our seated cat-cow. So lifting up through the chest and the chin, and round the spine back, chin towards your chest. Taking a few breaths that way. Okay, and then coming back up to center. All right, so let's move on to hands and knees, if that feels available. Okay, and then moving the hips from side to side. Maybe dipping back into a child's pose for a moment, take a nice big stretch through the upper body. And then we'll move forward onto hands and knees again. Lift the crown of the head and the pelvis, coming into cow pose, and then round into cat. Okay. And then we can carry on one more time through that. And then either sinking back into a child's pose or you can take a downward dog, curling the toes under, lift the hips up, and the knees. All right, so we're gonna stay in downward dog for a couple of breaths, maybe pedal the feet, or move a little bit if you'd like, or you can hold it in stillness. Right, so let's come forward, heels, lift, come towards your plank, lower the knees down, okay? And then we'll take our time as we lower down chest and chin. All right, moving right into a cobra or a sphinx. Okay, so hands or forearms forward, and then lift up to the shoulders, through to the pelvis. Okay, with the breath coming back down, and we'll move back into, again, child's pose, or you can come into your downward dog. All right, so from here, let's come into a low lunge. 1 foot forward, 1 knee back. All right, so setting yourself up so you feel comfortable. And then rising up, lifting up to the spine. And maybe taking the arms overhead if you'd like. Good, and then we'll bring them back down. Rest your hand on the front leg, okay? And we'll sweep the other arm up. Then come down to shoulder height. We're gonna sweep it out, come back into a twist if you'd like. And then moving forward, back up, and then down. All right, so from here, bring the hands down to the floor, all right? Bring the front leg out to the side so the ankle is in line with the knee, and we can take our adductor stretch, either on your hands or your forearms. All right, and then bringing the leg behind you, staying on your toes, the curl toes under, lengthen through the heel. Okay, and then drawing the weight forward just slightly, we'll do a functional strength move if you'd like. So lift the leg up so it's hovering off the floor. Okay, and then draw the leg across your other leg. Okay, so you're crossing the midline of the body, tap the toes down to the floor, and then you'll lift it up, come right out to the side again, tap the toes. Might be a bit easier on your hands rather than the forearms, but play around with it. We're going to do that 5 times. So you're doing like a half circle, or just like a U shape with the legs. Tap the toes and tap the toes. Okay. Once you've done 5, coming back into the center, okay, and then we'll just take a pause or a little wiggle break. Move into the body in a way that feels comfortable. Okay. Good, and then we'll start to reset. So let's come back into either child's pose or starting from a downward dog. And the other foot comes forward, back knee down. So taking a low lunge there. Rising up through the spine. Reverse lift. Drawing them back down. Leave one hand on the front thigh. The other arm, sweeping up. Come back down to shoulder height. Connecting with the breath. Sweep the arm behind you, coming into a big open twist. And moving back. And drawing the arm up again. One more time, bringing it right down to the leg, and then reach the hands to the floor. Good. All right. So adductor stretch on this side, extending the ankle out from the knee. Hold that for a few breaths. Okay, and then bring the leg behind you, curl the toes under, and lengthen through your heel. Okay. Gently moving forward, and then same again, we'll do the toe taps. So across the midline of the body, bring the toes down, and then bring them right out to the side. Trying to keep the upper body still. You're isolating that movement in the lower body, working the glutes, core, through the abdominals and the back muscles. One more. When you're finished, knee comes back in, and again, moving around in a way that feels comfortable and appropriate. Okay, right, and then we'll bring the hips back towards the heels, and keep the arms high, okay? Or we'll keep the head high. So we're in a child's pose, but we've got the head lifted, okay? Taking our side bend, so stepping the left hand over to the left, then right hand on top of the left hand. And then with the breath, moving over to the other side. Right hand down, left hand on top. And we stretch. And then back into the middle. Excellent. All right. Let's come forward. We're going to work a little bit with plank, okay? So either staying on your hands, or you can move onto your forearm. And again, you can have your knees down, or you can do a full plank with your toes curled under, okay? You're going to move forward towards your full plank position, or your supported plank. The hips are long, and we'll hold that for 5 breaths. Obviously, that's an invitation, so you can come out of it whenever it feels appropriate. Okay, once you've done the 5 breaths, slipping back into child's pose or lying down flat on the floor, whatever you'd like to do. Cool. All right, we'll slowly move forward. And then if it feels appropriate, we can take the pose again. So taking the plank again, whichever variation suits you, right? Okay. Once you've done your 5 breaths, again, dipping back, or you can just find a nice movement. All right, so let's slowly Lift up. Okay. Back on hands and knees, and we'll come onto forearms one more time. Okay. So from here, we'll take a puppy pose. If you'd like, you can fully extend the arms, bring the head towards the floor. Hips stay nice and high. And slowly rise. Right, so we're going to sit down on one hip, your sort of side on, one hand to the floor. Okay, that's it. Good. And then keeping the knees sort of stacked, so one leg on top of the other. Okay, and then we'll play around with sort of drawing the spine in a little bit more alignment. So we're drawing forward with the chest, okay? And then if you'd like, play around with lifting up. So we're coming into sort of side plank here, okay? Supported side plank, okay? If that feels like quite uncomfortable, what you can do is bring one leg forward, okay? Using it as a support there. Yeah. And foot down, and then we're lifting the hips up, and then maybe coming into supported side plank there. Okay, good. And then sweeping back down. Okay, so there's an alternative as well. But we can fully extend the bottom leg. Okay, bring the other foot out in front. Okay, and then rather than staying on this bottom knee, you're coming right up. Okay, so you're on the foot, but you've got the support of the leg at the front, so you're coming into a supported side plank here. That's it. Good. Holding that for a couple of breaths. It feels appropriate. Good. Sweep the arm down, bring the hips down to the floor. Okay. We'll rock onto the pelvis. We're seated, and you can unwind the legs. So we're coming into a seated position with the legs fully forward. Okay. So let's take a staff pose. Legs fully extended, toes towards the ceiling. Hands at your sides. Excellent. And then just releasing that effort there. Okay. All right, so working a little bit with crossing the midline of the body. I'll face the camera here. We're going to bring one hand. Let's start with the right hand, okay? Bringing it to the left leg. Good. And then we'll lift the arm up. Good. Maybe coming into a twist, throwing it down behind you. And then we'll move forward again, maybe moving up, and then cross the body. Tap the leg. Do that one more time. And then bring the arm back, okay? Doing the other side. Cross the midline of the body, and we lift the arm up, and sweep behind into the twist. Moving forward with breath. And then again, moving back. Move forward. Good. Okay. Lovely. All right. So from this position, I'm going to move on to our other hip. All right. Bring the hand onto the floor. And then depending on which variation of the side plank you prefer, you could keep both knees bent if you're going to come up onto the knee, or you can keep that bottom leg long and then bring the other foot forward to support you. Okay, but when you feel ready, and lifting the hip up off the floor and coming into your side bend. Okay, and then sweeping down, bring the hip back to the floor, and then we can roll back onto the pelvis. Again, we're in our seated position. This time, we're going to bend the knees and we'll lie back. Checking I'm still on the camera there. Okay. So just taking a moment to allow the body to meet the floor. Maybe hugging the knees in towards the chest. And then lengthening one leg away from you, keeping it on or near the floor, stretching through the hips. And then swapping sides. Bringing the knees back in. Excellent. All right, let's plant the feet on the floor. Okay, we'll rock the pelvis from side to side. Okay, then bringing the legs back into the middle. Okay, so feet in line with the sit bones. Okay, and then bring an ankle to the top of the opposite thigh. Focus on our piriformis stretch here, doing our supine pigeon. Okay, if you'd like, reach through and grab that bottom leg with both hands and lift the feet off the floor. And we can use a strap here around the back of the thigh if you want. And then bring the feet to the floor. Okay. Opposite ankle comes to the top of the thigh. Okay. And then if you'd like, lifting that other leg up. Okay. So right off the floor. And then slowly bringing that foot back down. Okay. If you'd like, taking a full body stretch, so fully extending the legs, arms come up overhead, and lengthen through the torso. Maybe drawing the legs over to one side, and then bending into the sideways, so the arms coming to that side as well. You're squeezing into one sideways, lengthening to the opposite sideways. And then moving across to the other side, if it feels appropriate. And then back into the center. Taking a moment, reconnect with the breath. Contact points with the floor. Okay. Roll over onto your side. Use your hands to press up into a seated position. Okay, so what we'll do here is a sequence meant to open the hips, and we'll work towards our sort of upright pigeon pose rather than lying on the floor. And you might want props for that. So you could have blocks, or you can use something softer, like a pillow, like a bed pillow. If you've got cushions, you can use those as well. Okay, I've got my bolster that I'll have to hand. Yeah, you might want your blocks as well for our sort of preparation pose. Okay. Okay. So we are going to start on hands and knees if that feels comfortable. All right. And then just coming into a downward dog. So lifting the hips up and back. And finding a bit of movement there if it feels nice. Right. And then one foot will come forward. Lifting heels. You can do a step through if you'd like. All right. And then we'll bring the back knee down. Okay, so if you take this front leg out to the side, so bring it to the outside of your hand. Okay, I might face you for this bit. Legs out to the side, back knee is down. If you'd like, you can use blocks. Give yourself a bit of support. And then we're just going to tip this front leg out to the side. So you're drawing your knee out to the side. Keep the ankle nice and strong, so you're not bending in the ankle. You're sort of tipping the foot. You're resting on the outside of the foot. And hopefully that feels okay. You can find a bit of length through the spine. Okay. And play around with this sort of angle that you've got that back leg, how far forward you are, but trying not to hang out in the hip joint. So trying not to put too much pressure on them. Okay, let's gently draw that leg back in. Okay, leg comes back. And then as a counter pose, we will take our piriformis stretch. So on your forearm, bring the leg you had forward just a moment ago, bring it behind you and cross over your opposite leg. And then you can tip the hip to the side. All right, and then we'll release that and come into some sort of rest pose for a moment. So that could be lying on your front, child's pose, downward dog. Okay, then we'll very slowly rebuild. Lifting the head, coming back up onto hands and knees. Okay, we'll do this pose on the other side. Other foot comes forward. Placing your blocks if you want them, and bringing that leg to the outside of the hand. That slightly wider stance there. Okay, and then again, if it feels appropriate, just tipping the knee out to the side for a hip stretch. We'll take about 3 or 4 breaths there. Okay, an alternative is to take that back knee off the floor. Up to you. Okay, and I'll gently draw the knee in, sweep the leg round, and then we can again take a little break. So from here, we'll come into a lying spinal twist. Give our hips a little break before we move into pigeon pose. So if you use your hand just to roll onto your side, okay, you can roll into the twist, or you can start on your back with your knees bent, depending on how it feels to you, basically. Okay, so from your side, drawing that top leg forward and then twisting round, bringing the arm to the floor. If you'd like, lifting the legs up. So we're now lying on our back, knees are bent, and we can come into the twist on the other side. And then bringing the knees back into the center. All right, so while we're here, just working with the breath. So drawing the arms across the chest, squeeze the shoulders. On your next big inhale, just releasing the arms, taking breath in, and then cross the arms again, squeeze and release the breath. Let's do that a couple more times. So inhale, release the arms, or open the arms. And exhale, squeeze. And last one. Okay, and then bringing your hands into a rest position. All right, let's move back up. Okay, are you happy to try pigeon pose? Are you okay? Yeah, excellent. All right, so we've got a couple of different ways we can come into it, either from hands and knees, okay? And then what you'll do is step your hands forward, so you've got plenty of space, okay? And then you'll bring one leg forward and draw the front leg across the body, okay? And I've dropped my hip here. So this is actually one version of pigeon pose. You've got both knees bent, one hip on the floor, okay? So you can stay here, or if you'd like, lifting the pelvis up so the back leg is straighter, and then you've got this big bend in the front hip, okay? So if you're like me and you can't get that front hip on the floor, then this is where we can use the prop. So you can bring your block or your cushion or whatever underneath this front side to support you. Okay. Okay. The other way is to come into it from downward dog, but it's just, do you want me to show the downward dog version as well? Yeah? Okay. It does give you a bit more room. So from downward dog, I'm coming up here. Okay, again, plenty of space. Okay, and then it's like a step through. So you're going to lift the heels up, round the spine forward, and then draw that leg forward. So you're just bringing the foot down on its side, and then lower the leg and the knee to the floor. Okay, and it can feel, so you can be here on the side, like your hip, and you can hold this as your pigeon pose, or rock the weight so that you're more forward facing. hip is high, and then you can bring the prop underneath your leg. Okay, so I'm here on my fist just to support my wrist, but you can be flat on your hands. Okay, you can lift up through the spine. Take a deep breath. Right, so it depends how you feel, but I find the easiest way to come out of it is just to shift on that front hip. So even on your prop, bring the hip over to the side, and then you've got a wee bit more space just to move the legs out. Right, so you definitely need to take a counter pose after that. Okay, so whatever feels right, you can take a downward dog, or you can lie on your front, move around, stand up. Okay, and then we'll prepare to come into on the other side. Again, you can do that from hands and knees, or if you're coming from downward dog, lift the heels, round the spine forward. Okay, we're going to draw that front leg forward. That's it. Okay, and then again, either on the hip to the side, or using your prop underneath pelvis, and your long through the back leg. So if you just check in with your knee, you want it bent, but you want your knee, you don't want your knee to cross the midline of the body, okay? So you want your lower leg to cross the midline of the body, but your knee should be out to the side. So if you've got your right leg forward, your right knee should be by your right hand. There, that's it, yeah. And then the lower leg comes across the body. Okay, is that a different sensation there? Yeah, good. So let's take our time to move out of this. Again, just shifting the hip down to the floor, okay? And then releasing the legs as you can. Okay. All right. So let's lengthen the legs forward, or just taking a moment to release that pose. All right. Okay. Good. And then taking a forward bend, nice and soft. Starting with the spine upright, and then just sliding the hands down the leg. All right, maybe getting to about 60, 70%, and start to curl the spine forward. So keeping everything soft and fluid. Okay. Slowly coming back up. Okay. Then we'll bend the knees. Good. So what we're doing here is, because we've done all that stretching through the hips, we're kind of gathering back in now. Pigeon's quite a big open pose, and now we're using our introspective forward bend to kind of balance the energy. Okay. Right. So if you feel comfortable, What we'll do is just wrap our arms around the backs of the legs and then round forward, okay? And you can keep space between the legs if you'd like. That feels better. Alternatively, you could just cross your arms on the tops of your knees and bring the head down. Just take another breath or two. And slowly lift the head, drawing out of the forward bend there. Okay. And then we will do a little bit of a heart opening pose. We'll do a bit of restorative, okay? So again, I've got a bolster. It can be a rolled blanket if you've got one, or a bed pillow, long cushion. We'll lay it along the spine, okay? So the idea is to have a bit more elevation behind the shoulder blades. So if you have another blanket where you can make like a wedge, just or again a pillow, whatever you have to hand, put that under the top of your prop, and then you can make a wedge shape. Excellent. All right. So you want the short end of your prop to be at the back of the pelvis, and then lying down. Once you're in position, you might find you need something behind your head to support you as well. Make sure that all parts of your body and your spine and your head feel supported. You don't want anything to be hanging. Okay. You can keep your knees bent or you can fully extend the legs. Arms out at your side. And we're going to stay here for probably about 3 minutes. Just tuning into the breath, allowing gravity just to find some space around the throat and the chest. Releasing tension around the shoulders and the collarbone, the face. Just tuning in to the breath. Feeling the sensations of the body. Leaving yourself with kindness. Take 2 or 3 more breaths. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. And lifting. Noticing. First, lifting mentally, and then beginning to move the body. And then making your way out of the pose. So we're ready now for our pranayama, our breath work, and then our relaxation. So if you'd like to lie down for that, that's absolutely fine. Just get yourself comfortable, set up with your props. Nice and warm. All right. Just taking a few moments to settle in, make any final adjustments. And begin to initiate the practice by tuning in to your natural rhythm of breath. So energetically, if you're feeling quite spent, so you feel quite low energy, maybe a bit depleted, then you can just stay with your natural rhythm of breath, allowing it to flow naturally, focusing your awareness on that sensation. If you'd like to work with the energy in a little bit more slightly active way, we'll practice our Ujjayi breath like we did at the start of the practice. So you're breathing in and out of the nostrils, light constriction at the back throat to make an ocean wave sound. Deep breath. And a couple more moments to connect with the breath in whatever form you choose. And then we'll release all effort. Allowing all the body, including the breath, just exist. There's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Coming into the feel of the physical body. Connection point between your body and the floor. And noticing the connection point between your body and the center. Feeling the waist, the head, arms, back, legs, and feet. Inviting in deeper breath, movement in fingers and toes. Maybe choosing to stretch the body. And feel ready. Getting back up into a seated position. Thank you. Pause the recording here.